Is social media sucking the life out of you, taking up all your time, effort, attention, energy? It's like one of those toxic friends constantly trauma dumping on you and giving you very little in return. It's time to take the power back. It's time to flip the script. I'm not saying you have to switch off from social media or even consume it less. All I'm saying is instead of consuming the emotions from social media, you consume the lessons. In this video, I'm going to tell you about 5 lessons you can learn from social media that is going to actually make you happier, more content, more relaxed. My name is Rai. I am a former media presenter and director. And in this space, I break down all those things that make us into our personality, all those little things that build our own personal brand. And learning to take the best out of every situation is one prime factor in that. There is a word called Paramhansa, which means the great swan. When swans eat, they take a gulp in the water, right? So along with the food, a lot of water also goes into their mouth, but they don't retain that dirty water. They retain the food and the water simply goes out of their mouth. Their mouths are designed in that way. We need to design our lives and our social media consumption in that way, that we all become Paramhansas. So here are 5 ways that you can become the master of social media and not its slave, observing and consuming only the lessons. So lesson number 1, you are the top 1%. These days, this word top 1% is thrown around a lot. It basically refers to all the rich people like the Russian oligarchs, the Dubai sheikhs, the social media influencers who've suddenly shot to the top, the tech billionaires like Elon Musk, and even the generational wealth of Indian businessmen like the Ambanis. When a child in India asks his or her parents for something expensive, what does the parent say? They always say, where am I going to get the money from? I'm no Tata Birla. Tata Birla has become synonymous with being the top 1%, but not anymore. Thanks to social media, you are now the top 1%. In certain categories, in certain niches, you are the most wanted person. Somebody wakes up every morning to create content for you and hopes you wake up and give them a little bit of your time. They're not always doing it for money. They're really just doing it for your company, your validation. So no matter how neglected, how useless, how inadequate you feel, you do serve a purpose. You do have value to someone. Lesson number 2. It's a lesson we should have learned in our kindergarten days, but unfortunately we don't. We spend the rest of our life looking for validation, always to be liked by everyone. But social media teaches us that no matter how good you are, not everybody is going to like you. When you go and click on that favorite song of yours, you see some likes, but then you see so many dislikes and you wonder who these weirdos are who did not like this song. Why do they even exist? But that's the way the world is. So never take somebody's dislike personally. If they don't like you, you're just a song they don't like. Lesson number 3, the matter matters. We've always told that it's not the outer beauty, it's the inner beauty that counts. But we know that in real life, outer beauty matters. The pretty cats and the pretty ladies on the internet get the most views. However, if you now go a little deeper and look at the top performing YouTube channels, you will see none of them are about makeup or beauty or anything like that. Like Mr. Beast right now is at the number 1 spot. In fact, if you look at the top 4 channels on YouTube, you would think there's a war going on between India and USA. It's like USA, India, it goes on like that. At one point of time, there was this huge war between Carrie Minati of USA and the T-Series of India. And now somehow Carrie Minati is out of the picture. T-Series still holding on at, I think, the number 2 spot. It keeps changing though. One of the top performing channels of all times is Coco Melon, which the babies and toddlers watch. So who thought, who knew? In fact, on my channel, I often find that the days I wear good clothes, do nice makeup, put a little extra effort on doing my lighting right, it doesn't always get me more views. It's in fact embarrassingly those days where I'm looking shabby and my script is a little all over the place, my delivery is not all that great, but the days I'm most genuine is when I get the most subscribers and likes, and somehow that teaches me a lesson that authenticity matters more than any varnish and polish you can put on anything. Lesson number 4, narrow your eyes. Social media teaches us to narrow our eyes a little bit, because whenever a certain report is posted on social media, there will be invariably some contrarian comments, and you will get to know what that story is missing, and you will get to learn a few new angles which will actually question your initial perception of that story. So we're always looking at social media with, but is that really so? That little bit of skepticism is kept alive by social media. We don't take everything at face value. These days, when you see a social media video and you don't know whether it's real or AI, there is always someone who's going to point out to something that helps us confirm, oh, you look at that shadow, that's AI. So social media teaches us not to be vulnerable, not to be too gullible, to always question what we see. And I think that's a very valuable lesson to learn, that anyone can fool you anytime, no matter how intelligent you are. So it's important to keep up a little bit of that guard up for our own good. This reminds me of a very funny story. I once went to this small place called Siliguri, which is near Darjeeling, which is near Nepal, but it's in India. And there was a new radio station coming up. So they had invited me to give the new radio jockeys a talk as sort of training. So I took a flight and I landed up there. And there was a whole bunch of people. We sat around and we were doing scripts, and I was teaching them how you should smile and talk at the same time, because everybody was very nervous and they were very serious and closed up. And I said, you smile and you read. But there was this one girl who simply couldn't smile when she reads. And I said, what happened? Why aren't you smiling when you're reading? She said, I physically cannot smile when I read because I have really thin eyes. And when I smile, my eyes absolutely close up and I can't read anymore. I remember having a good laugh about it. And I know this story is completely irrelevant to the point I'm making, but people whose eyes become really narrow when they smile look really cute, I think. And I told you this story just to remind you to narrow your eyes when you consume social media. And last but not the least, I'm going to tell you about the first mover advantage. Long time ago, I was working in this office and there was a tiff between me and another girl. And I was sharing what happened with another colleague, and she gave me this advice that you should be the first one to go up and talk to your boss about this before the other girl does. And that is the first mover advantage. When your boss hears your side of the story first, it is going to make that first impression, and everything will be judged on the basis of your story. So you need to make that first move in order to have that advantage. So in business, this term is often used to suggest that anybody who comes up with the product first has the first mover advantage than the person who comes out slowly at the heels of the first person. But social media shows that you can just break into the scene anytime and rise straight to the top without any resistance. If your product is good, if you are doing it the right way, if you just know how to hack the system, you will get there soon enough. And so no matter what conditions you've been brought up in, where you are in life right now, this does not mean just because you are in the lowest of the lows right now that you will continue to be in that spot forever. You just need to figure out the way to the top. Anybody can figure out the way is what the algorithm teaches us. And the algorithm keeps changing, so you need to keep up. And that's one of the valuable lessons I need you to take away from social media. And those were the 5 lessons I wanted to share with you today. If you like them, please do like and subscribe. Subscribe to this channel because it's a new channel and every subscriber is a celebration for me. And on that note, I'm going to switch out of this video, but I'll see you in the next one.